They're saying yes. We're too busy talking about Luna, Lindsey Stirling.
Oh, we're going, yeah.
Well, yeah, we're live now, but who cares about this when you got this sweet little puppy?
And you guys match.
We do. We're matching today. You know, the dark with the floral. It's the thing.
You're easing into fall.
You know what? We are. We're going there. Got a little rose.
I believe this might be the first puppy in the history, and I call all dogs puppies.
Okay,
I don't know
she
how
looks
old,
like a puppy.
Yeah, I don't know how old Luna is, but I think this is the first ever dog we've had in the Blue Cross Blue Shield performance stage. I think ever.
Really? Oh
I
my
believe
goodness.
so.
Luna, you hear that? This is a first. You should be very honored.
Her ears perked up, and she's like, "Yep."
She honestly looks like she knows it's an honor.
She
Look
does.
Look how stoic she got.
She did.
I saw you got Portillo's on the way in.
Oh my gosh, I did. And I was, you know, it's funny when you get a huge shake like that, your first thought is, well, there's no way I'm going to finish this.
Gone.
It's gone.
So it was worth the hype.
It was so good. I mean, I'm a chocolate person and I'm a shake person, so it was everything I
Which
could
shake
ever
did
hope.
you get?
The chocolate shake
Good
or
for
the
you.
chocolate cake shake. Yeah, it was so good.
Any regrets?
You know what? I don't have any regrets. I figure if you're gonna eat it, what's the point of regretting it? Like that kind of takes away the fun. I've spent way too much of my life regretting things I've eaten, so I don't do that anymore.
Dude, that's fantastic. So, welcome to Chicago. I think
Thank
it's been a
you.
while, right?
It has been a while. I'm trying to think, was it last year's Christmas tour? I think, or 2 years ago Christmas.
And we're in August now.
Yeah.
So I'm not really good at math, but that's at least
That's-
8 months.
That's a while. I know we're going to Milwaukee for a Christmas show, and we'll be back in the spring with the album tour. So we'll be coming back, Chicago. Don't you worry.
You have been busy though since last time you were here
have.
because you made a thing.
I created a new album baby. You know?
How long did that take you?
Took me about 9 months. No, actually, I started it in January, and now it's done. So it was actually the fastest I've ever written an album. And it, you know, sometimes when you're just feeling the inspiration and the ideas are coming, it just came. And so I was really excited that I was inspired this time. And also, I was really excited to write from a happy place. I feel like a lot of times artists, we draw from hardship to write music. And my past 2 albums, I drew from, like, you know, loss. I wrote my last album all about loss of my dad and my best friend had passed away. And then the previous album was written about overcoming anorexia. Like, all of these were really hard things. And this album is about, like, joy. And it was really fun to pull from that to make art.
Do you hear that in the music?
I think so. I think so. Like, the album starts out a little more intense and then it warms up towards the end to, like, very, very up. But all the music has hopeful tones in it. And I think you especially hear that with, like, the Upside, the single that I just, you know, am starting to share now. It's a very, like, optimistic and very upbeat and very, like, joyous song to me.
You're fascinating to me.
Oh.
And here's why. It's
Thank
because you play an instrument that's not as mainstream as most. Like, for example, on B96, we don't play a lot of songs with violin.
But right. Yeah.
Right, there's just not a lot. But somehow you've taken this instrument and you've made it mainstream, and you've been very successful with that and really broadened that to, I would say, a younger audience that have latched onto you. To me, that's fascinating that you're able to break through to that.
Well, thank you. It's been it's been an interesting journey of, like, finding my sound, and I was brought up classically trained, my whole life, till I was like 17. I'd only pretty much played classical music, and then it kind of just was this choice of, like, I don't think this instrument really fits my personality, but yet I've played it my whole life. How can I make the violin fit me rather than force me into this instrument, because classical musicians were very much regimented on how to play and what to play and when to play. Like, it's very, very, and I'm a creative person. And so it was really fun to discover how to make the violin fresh for myself and how to make it creative. And for me, the music is only the beginning of it. Like, I love telling stories. I love making music videos. I love planning shows and hoping to make people feel something while they sit in their seats and watch, like, ballerinas jump around the stage. Like, I love bringing the music to life in multiple varieties. And I think that maybe is why people have somehow latched onto it, is I think the stories that the music tells.
Definitely. Do you think social media was a help? Because I know I found out about you, I think, by seeing, like, different videos of you performing on Facebook, because people would share them because it was so cool. Do you think that, like, social media was definitely a help to get the violin more mainstream?
100%. I always joke that like if there was no YouTube, there would have been no me, that anyone ever heard of anyway. Because I remember when I first started going to record labels with this music that I was so excited about, and I was like, no one's ever done this before, and their response was, yeah, no one's ever done this before. Like, no, thank you. We don't want it, because no one's ever done this before. But the internet is perfect for that. Like, shareability is all about something that's fresh and new. And when people would share my videos, they would always say, I've never seen a dubstep violin thing, or I've never heard this, I've never seen a violinist dance, and so suddenly that like it's never been done before went from being a really bad thing that no one wanted to touch to being like the most shareable thing I could possibly do. And so I'm so grateful that I came around at the perfect time. I started my YouTube channel in 2000, like late 2010, and that was right as YouTube was starting to take off, and it couldn't have been like better timing.
Well, and I think, too, the cool thing is if somebody just happens to catch you live once that maybe didn't know about you, they immediately are amazed and want to go home and look at it. Like, for instance, I saw 2 cellos open up for Elton John, and I was like, I want to go show everybody, like, how cool this is because it's so unique. And then eventually I started seeing their videos on social media, so I could see how it's definitely similar to that.
Totally. Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
At what point, what video that do you have a video in particular that you put on YouTube that you're like, oh, I think I got something here, where it just kind of blew up and it was the first time you realized, oh my God, I might be kind of famous?
Yes, it was. I mean, I had 2 moments. Well, the first one was I did a cover of The Legend of Zelda, and that was the first viral moment I'd ever had. I dressed up with the little like ears and everything, and I went into the forest and played my violin, and that video went really viral. And so that was the first one for me. But the real moment was when I posted my first dubstep violin song. It was Crystallize. And that got 1 million views in one day. And at the time, I had like 100,000 subscribers. So that was like unheard of for me. But not only was it the views and how quickly they came, but it was the fact that this was an original song. It wasn't searchable. It wasn't like The Legend of Zelda where people were looking for that, or it was nostalgic for people. Like, this was something brand new they'd never heard before, and yet it was being shared. And it was the moment of like, I think that my life just changed, and I think I'm going to get to do music the way that I want to do it. I'm not going to have to play by everybody else's rules and, make, like, not saying there's anything wrong with being a cover artist, because that is so great, and it takes a really cool creativity to do that as well. But I wanted to write electronic music. And so that was my like, I think my life is going to be what I want it to be moment.
How many violins do you own?
I own quite a few. I probably have like 7 that I play on a regular basis. I tour with 4 on every tour, 4, maybe 5. And I have everything from a little tiny violin that I play on stage to, bedazzled electronic violins that have like beautiful crystals on them. And, and I have one that's a crossbow violin that I just got made. That's really cool. Because this whole album is, it's called Artemis, and Artemis is the goddess of the moon, but she's also the goddess of the hunt. And so she's always depicted in imagery with a bow and arrow. And so I made a violin that looks like a bow and arrow.
What made you decide on Artemis?
I thought, well, it was funny. I was actually looking for a name for a specific track, and I wanted it, the symbolism of what that track meant was about bringing light to darkness. And so I was like, well, who's the goddess of the moon? And I looked at, was researching it, and then I was just fascinated by everything that Artemis represents. And I was like, and this was the first song that I had really fallen in love with for the album. So I decided, like, this is going to define the whole album. This album is about the goddess of the moon and her story, and it's been really fun to like further develop it from just being like a concept into like this album tells a full story with characters, and all that artwork is very like manga style anime, because it's developing a comic book that goes in. I've been working on a comic book for like the last I don't know, months and months, that goes along with the album.
That's exciting.
Which is really fun.
Left field question.
Yeah.
Do you like people that reply all to emails? It's an insight. We're talking about this thing here. We have this guy named Shane. I don't know if you want to say hi to Shane in one of these cameras or whatever, but
hi, Shane.
He replied all to a company email last week for a color printer, and he called dibs on a color printer, and since then the entire company has been roasting him. So your thoughts on reply all people?
Are you very careful not to reply all?
Ooh, I will be from now on. Holy cow, I'm going to get publicly roasted like poor Shane. It's okay. We've all made that mistake before. Or was this a conscious decision?
Well, the thing about why we're taking this to the next level is because Shane has been the first person to roast people who do this.
Oh, so he's a hypocrite.
Yes, now.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a different story. That's information we need to know. Yeah, you can't be a hypocrite about it. I mean, an accidental reply. I've done that before. It's like embarrassing. You're like, oh shoot, I just sent that to 100 people. Some stupid question. I've done that before. But yeah.
So Lindsey Stirling says that Shane is a hypocrite. Good. We'll add that. No, don't get me wrong. That is the nicest thing anybody said to him all week. So that's good. Anything else? We good? We cover everything?
Yeah, I mean, just you're putting out the new album. Anything next for you that we don't know about yet?
I know we're coming back. Yeah, I think I already mentioned it. We're coming back for a Christmas tour. We'll be doing the Artemis tour in the spring. So that's pretty much it. I'm just excited to start a new chapter and share new art. Got some new music videos coming out in the next month, 2 coming out, which I'm really stoked on.
What is the process of you making music videos? Because you're so artistic with in collaboration with your music, so I can only imagine how those music videos come about for you.
Yes, the reason that these videos aren't out yet is because if I don't think of the right idea, I don't release a video. And so I've been, a lot of times I think of the music video ideas first, and then I'll write the song so I can make the music video. But because this album was so concept driven, I had all the concepts. I just couldn't, it took me a while to figure out how to artistically portray them. And so the Upside music video finally is almost done. It'll be released soon. But it tells the stories of these characters in Artemis. And but yeah, I do think of all my own music video ideas because I'm so attached to the songs. I can't just send it out and have some random person make their vision for it. So I also co-direct all my music videos, and I edit them all. So actually on the plane ride here, I was finishing up the edit for the Artemis music video, and the people on the plane next to me, I have a dog on my lap, I have a laptop on my thing, and I'm finishing a music video in economy class, That's the way I roll. But that's the way it's got to be. So I don't know. Maybe they got a sneak peek. Maybe it's been leaked on the internet already. Just a little camera
person
version.
behind you
Right.
is like this.
I think that's Lindsey Stirling, and I think she's editing her music video.
That's amazing. Some of the best work you'll see on YouTube comes from seat 27E on Southwest Airlines.
Literally, yeah. I was back in the 20s for sure. That lady with a dog and way too much carry-on. That was me.
That's why you're fascinating. How many subscribers do you have now on YouTube, by the way?
I've got over 11 million.
Oh my God.
I know. That's a lot of people. Thank you to anyone who subscribed to me. Holy cow. Blows my mind.
There are countries that don't have 11 million people.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, subscribe to Lindsay, purchase the music, download the music legally, do all that stuff, and thank you for coming in.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Luna!
Thanks, Lindsay and Luna.
Luna, get up.
Hello.
She peeked her head up. She's like, I just want some attention, you
For
guys.
the first dog, you weren't too exciting.
Oh, no, it's not
Oh, she's shaking.
Oh, I made her uncomfortable.
Bright
I'm
lights.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's so sweet. On that note.
All right. Thanks
Thanks,
for having
Lindsay.
me.
Thanks.
That was fun. Yeah.